that leads to my next question. What do you think is the purpose and mission of your life?
When I was a teenager, for an afternoon, I was invited by a girlfriend to go to her home and to just we chit-chat. We were teenagers. And her mom was there. My little girlfriend told me, my mom is a storyteller. She can read cards and tell you your future. Are you interested? And I said, of course. I mean, I was curious. I was something 14, 15. And that lady told me, your purpose on this earth is to help your father. And at that time, I was shocked. And that's why I remember it. I was shocked because I felt, how can I help my father? I have no idea. I don't understand what he's doing. And it seems boring to me. So I am definitely not going to do anything to help, a scientist at the Pasteur Institute in Paris. That's not of no interest to me, and I don't think he needs me anyway. But I remember that, and here I am. My father is no longer there, and I'm still carrying his legacy. So I think I have helped him beyond the grave.
That's a very interesting, insightful story.
So I wrote the book just for the 20th anniversary of the passing of my father. It felt like a proper time to look back and see what has been achieved during those past 20 years, what happened, and how did we get there from 20 years ago, everything was destroyed in France by the French government. And then 20 years later, there is this non-for-profit organization in New York with established partnerships with a number of academic institutions and scientific papers in peer-reviewed journals coming out on a regular basis. I felt it was kind of extraordinary journey. I wanted to share that with a number of people, and I wanted also to inform them of this research. As long as it was just, my father's work, and it had not been confirmed by other scientists, I felt it was too early to really communicate about it, because science is all about confirmation of the results. I really wanted to have this body of scientific confirmation and new recent American publications to share the story.
So let's talk about the researches and the products and everything that has to do with the Beljanski approach to wellness. It's a holistic philosophy, which I absolutely love. So would that also be applied to prevention?
Absolutely, because it is the same approach, whatever the stage is. So we have seen, for example, that very often cancer starts with an inflammation. So we had some studies also showing how some plant extracts are able to have an anti-inflammatory benefit. And then the same plant extract has an anti-cancer benefit, because it all starts with a kind of destabilization of the DNA, which results from the fact that the DNA is subjected to environmental toxins that modify the DNA. Under the pressure of those toxins, the DNA is no longer nicely put together like a nice ellipse together, and it's the hydrogen bonds which are supposed to keep together the two strands of the DNA break, and that's when the DNA becomes cancerous. But it's a cumulative and progressive phenomenon. It doesn't happen overnight. So that it means that it empowers us. We have the possibility to be aware, to reduce the amount of toxicity that surrounds us and that we put in our bodies. We can, start detoxification.
Right.
and we can replenish our body with the proper natural vitamins. We can boost our immune system. And if that's not enough, those compounds are there to help us prevent selectively the duplication of the DNA of those cells, which are, become modified. If you live in a toxic environment, if you are with, in a toxic relationship with people, this toxicity is going to stay with you. In a treatment, you are not going to get better if you do not address the cause of the disease.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Wow, that's interesting that you mentioned even emotional toxicity.
It's very important because emotions develop in us, some chemicals. And that's how the chemicals, start physical reactions, just like a foreign body.